Well, welcome everybody, and welcome to this week's Mez World News. Today's headlines are for the week ending the 28th of October, 2018, of course. Um, Barely believable.
Mm.
This time next week we'll be into November, and as soon as the fireworks have all gone off and the Halloween festivities are over, it's going to be the countdown to the December Consumer Fest. Dear me, it's really not going to be a happy time, is it, until we're well into January and can just recover from all such things.
Brr.
Anyway, the other place we can do that is, of course, virtuality, or rather, we can visit virtual worlds to escape all the stresses and strains of that organic world living. Yes, indeed. I better be careful here. I don't want to advocate virtual worlds as an alternative to the real world.
Oh, or a
I
replacement.
should just say they're this kind of 99% of the time replacement of stressful holiday seasons, I think
Mm.
is the way to put it. Anyway, down to the serious news about same. You can follow me on Twitter at twitter.com/malburns. It's all one word, MALBURNS for the stream. And there's the second stream, in fact, which is twitter.com/Meta World News after this program. The difference between the two streams is that my main one is about human computer interfacing and virtual worlds of and VR, part of that. The Meta World News itself stream is a bit more to do with social virtual worlds online, be they in virtual reality helmets or on a simple 2D screen like OpenSim and the Hypergrid, which is where we are broadcasting from. Anyway, down to business, and we're going to look at some of my tweets of the week. Right. Um, I'm starting off with well, there've been several posts on this, and I do know that James has my picture of the screen up to show you.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, high fidelity, which is one of the virtual worlds on available on your desktop, is having a best avatar contest, and quite a lot of money to be won there. If you can see the figure that says 1,000 United States dollars. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
not bad at all. High fidelity like giving away money at the moment. Futurelands, this virtual reality festival, it's happening sort of in the real world too. It's a rather serious sounding sort of festival, but anyway, you can actually attend for free via High Fidelity. So the post I've got there is it's an Ara Pays blog, which I will endeavour to find for you on the other machine. Modem World ME is what I think it is, but
Mm-hmm.
we'll just double check here. Yeah, modemworld.me, and that's modem as in the electronic device that nobody uses anymore. MODEMWORLD.me. And that's in our Pay's blog. Very good blog that, although the majority of the stuff she posts about are over in Second Life, but she does cover a variety of kind of other stuff too. Right, now, road2vr.com, post from Ben Lang that came up today. Microsoft have revealed something called Maquette, a French word that is actually, although in Microsoft case it's a VR tool for spatial ideation and design. Um, Very quickly, I'm going to attempt to load that on the other machine. I don't think it's going to happen. Maybe something's happening. I think it needs double clicks instead of my single clicks.
Hmm.
Um, right, here we are. And hard to say really. Just before James gives you anything to look at, I'm just going to see if I can figure out how that should be. Okay, well, if James wants to show you these pictures, I'm basically scrolling down the web page here. As you can see, there's one picture and another picture, all with a made with Microsoft Magnet, the
Mm.
beta,
Mastodons.
and
Yeah.
um, Mastodon. What's that?
Elephants. Yeah.
Right. I'm sorry. There's a software called Mastodon where you don't tweet, you toot.
Oh, right. That's right.
And yeah. some interesting stuff here, and there are, and this is the one this is the picture that you keep finding with all the PR for it and stuff. It looks a bit like what I see in the Oculus Go thing with
Hmm.
well, you don't see your own avatar there, but there's already this sort of metaphor for menus and stuff in front of you. Sort of seems to be, you know, everybody seems to be doing it the same way, and I'm not saying it's not intuitive, but I find it a bit ugly. I really don't like
Hmm.
it hanging
Hmm.
out as an angle in midair. You would think there'd be better ways of arranging menus and stuff.
Yeah, yeah. It's all in
Anyway,
arm's reach. I think is the concept there.
yeah.
Yep.
Anyway, you can find a post about this at roadvl.com, courtesy of Ben Lang, and I can even there you are. You can see the nice RotoVR logo. Sorry. Right, okay. Enough of that. Enough of that. Back to me. Back to me, please.
Yep.
And yeah, my next one, vrscout.com. No headsets, they say. A VR space like Star Trek's holodeck may soon become a reality. So this is back on the tech side of things. And if I can get out of... Oh, how do you get out of where I was? I presume I have to go back to home. Yes, there we are. Right, I'm going to open up another link here just so I can show you a pretty picture.
Oh my.
Is it worth it? I say to myself. I've got it open on the other machine, so I think, okay, yeah, we got to see this, haven't we? Yeah, what we've got here. VL Scout. The post here, no headset, a VR space like Star Trek's holodeck may soon become reality. Posted October 26th. And yeah, not much more to say about this really, except that this is light field technology again. Light field is claimed to be the future of high definition, high resolution for VR and stuff like that. But obviously not just in headsets, but also in the theory here is you can just build a space that becomes a holodeck when you walk into it. A bit like they had in the old Star Trek, hence the title. Right. Next post is a site, we don't need to look at it, a site called Stratectuary, like not strategy.
Hmm.
Right, STRATECHERY.com. And the article is entitled The Problem with Facebook and Virtual
Oh.
Reality.
Okay.
Yes, so somebody's detected that there might be a problem. Who be I to argue? Find that out at that site. GG. Right, vrscout.com again. Spatial's collaborative AR platform turns any room into a 3D workspace. This is another one that looked rather nifty. Unfortunately, it's going to take half an hour for me to actually load a picture for you there, so I'm not going to bother. And also, RoadToVR.com also has a similar post with the same picture. Spatial raises $8 million seed investment for AR VR collaboration platform. And just on the off chance, uh, it's funny, you know. Oh yes, okay. Well, James, you have a picture to go with this too.
Oh my. Okay.
Spatial, yes, it was in the exact right position. How very convenient that was. Right, okay, so read more about that at either roadvr.com or at vrscout.com. Uploadvr.com have, well, the Cyber Shoes Impressions, a convincing alternative for movement in VR. This is about a product called Cyber Shoes. Yes, and it's quite a long article. They clearly they just see this as another add-on in the sense that you might have Oculus Touch controllers or trackpads or Vive ones and stuff like that. So they're clearly making these shoes to be yet another thing that you strap to your body to contribute to the overall VR experience, as it were. But we get an awful lot of gloves for our hands coming out, so why not have shoes too? I hope they've got active toes. Maybe you can do some toe painting in VR. Wouldn't that be fun? Like the foot and mouth artists.
Hmm.
Yeah, says James. Very good.
Thinking
Next
about
time.
that one. Yeah.
Let me go to the next article. The future of wireless reality. Sorry, the future of virtual reality is wireless. This is another post at what do we call it? Uploadvr.com, and uh, wireless standalone VR, different. Well, basically, let's open this and find out. It seems to be saying that. Uh, I hope it's not Bluetooth wireless. It's I can't actually see. This is a personal comment, but I can't actually see something like Bluetooth. However good and however modern the signal is, actually really working for wireless. Wi-Fi, of course, can get pretty serious speeds.
Hmm.
Okay,
And bandwidth.
yeah. Um, they reckon next year, 2019, is when the technology will really take off. And it's full of facts and figures about Vive, Google, PlayStation, Oculus, Valve, Facebook, blah, blah, blah. Um, yeah, a lot of. I'm not going to send over any pictures to you on this one. Yeah, it's a lot of speculation, really. So that is at Upload VR. Um, More on the platform spatial. This time there's a post at Engadget.com, Engadget. Been quite a lot of um, um, uh, publicity for this. They describe it as basically FaceTime in 3D. I bet you they use Apple for their dev. Do you think so?
With a name
Calling
like
it
FaceTime, yeah.
FaceTime in 3D, yes, it sort of reminds you of something, doesn't it? Right.
Hmm. Hmm.
Oh, now VR experiences, digitaltrends.com. I don't think we even want a picture for this one. What's it like to die? Well, the answer to the question, this VR experience puts doctors in a dying man's shoes. Basically, they created an experience for doctors, believe it or not, to apparently convey doctors what it feels like to die. Go figure. VR's got lots of interesting uses. Right, three
The
days ago,
ultimate
V time.
empathy, right?
Yes. Yeah, come get dead with us. Yeah.
Hmm.
Hmm. Don't know. Right, motorvr.com has a post called V-Time. Now, V-Time I haven't heard of for quite a while. It's a small V and then capital Time, V-Time. The company behind the same title VR app, actually, which is, I think, available in headsets. In fact, I think they did some stuff that's available on a 2D screen. They're based in Liverpool in the UK here. Anyway, they've opened a new United States office, and it's led by a former research vice president at Gartner, Brian Blau. I think that's how you pronounce it. So, yeah, VTime are now in the grand old USA, which is probably a bit more exciting for them than Liverpool, but I won't comment any further on that. The Oculus Launchpad is silently populating the VR content pool. VRScout.com reports that a little known initiative, Oculus is actively funneling in talent with the promise of training tools and resources that developers, new and old, can use to build projects for the Oculus platform as well as for the greater VR ecosystem. This is really just a bit of a backstory about Oculus Launchpad, which basically, well, parent company Facebook presumably are coughing up a whole load of money and they're sort of teaching people to author for VR and show them how to build projects and basically fund a whole load of stuff. So this article gives a little bit of background on what's happening on that front. All right, nwn.blogs.com, New World Notes, this is Hamlet Hall's site. Yeah, this is just an odyssey, really. It was a curiosity. Isotopium, this is called. It's a real world virtual world. Because it's not a virtual world at all, really. It's a scale model of a city, and in this scale model, if you imagine walking in the real world to a scale miniature city, inside that city are avatars which are internet controlled drones. Um, More an interesting bit of mixed media, I think, here rather than a virtual world story, but curious nonetheless. And also, developing story during the week. I've got it at digitalbodies.net. Talking of all this, Oculus Rift 2, in other words, the next VR, big Oculus Rift headset, has apparently been cancelled. Yes, there'll be a Oculus Focus. There's all the new Oculus stuff, but they're not going to make a version 2 of the Rift. Apparently, they're going with the Goes and the Focuses and, well, whatever. So that was described as a developing story, but it's been popping up here, there, and everywhere. Um, CCP Games. This is at uploadvr.com. Quote from I think it's managing director of CCP Games. Expected VR to be 2 or 3 times as big as it actually ended up being. Also, 6 days ago, Sony have patented a new system for local multiplayer VR. Uploadvr.com has that report too. And hand and finger tracking coming soon to HTC Vive Pro. You can read about that at vrscout.com. And yes, a video. There was also an interesting little sort of video post about Magic Leap. And down to 1 week ago here, I'm not sure whether we did it last week or not. Um, uh, voicesvr.com. Lots of podcasts as usual. Number 708 was Indicade's Sam Roberts on the future of players as immersive and experiential. And one final one here that's marked as a week ago is the site is called towardsdatascience.com. Now, towards data science is all one word. In other words, there's no spaces there. And it's a .com address, and it's basically a review artificial intelligence in 2018. Purely AI there, really, but it goes into a few things. So it's what I call convergence. Nothing is really exclusive to its an acronym, as it were. Right, I'm getting out of that page here now, and I'm moving across to nope, the wrong one. Too late. I've loaded it. Right, go back again. Here we are. MetaWorlds Envied. Right. Um, Okay, Daniel Voyager.wordpress.com. That's DANIELVOYAGER.wordpress.com. This is another mostly Second Life blogger, in fact. He has a post or a 2018 update on the new Islands grid. This is Islands spelled with a Z instead of an S, and it's the successor grid to InWorlds. It's basically just an update. I don't think they're going to be online for Halloween properly, but they're getting near to being fully online. They won't be on the hypergrid because they use the Halcyon engine and very much like InWorlds did. But it'd be a home away from home for former InWorlds residents if you were keen on that particular virtual platform. Um, Santorini Art Festival offers a free book. Yes, this actually is a post you can find at hypergridbusiness.com, all one word. Um, November the 1st is the opening of the Santorini Digital Biennial Art Festival. You may know from our other programs and other posts, Art Blue and various people involved in this. But the organizers have actually made available a nice little glossy 28-page preview book that you can get for free But to get it, you have to get a Hypergrid business and read this post and then follow the appropriate links that say, I found you at Hypergrid Business, and etc. etc. But you can get a book for free with that. I actually saw the virtual thing of this all a few months ago, and sort of so looking at the pictures I see here, I do kind of recognize all that. I don't think we're in the right place for me to show you that. No, we're not, are we? No, so might forget that for now. Right, up and coming Halloween events in the Unity-based social MMO Science Space. You can find this in New World Notes, well, nwn.blogs.com. Basically, a roundup of Halloween stuff happening in Science Space, which is another virtual world. And Science Space has the advantage of being, if you don't want to download a virtual world client to get in there, you can actually get in there by going to the region using your web browser. Slight different. Obviously, the web browser isn't quite as high graphic experience, but it's still pretty more than adequate. Right, and I'm just flipping through a few things here, and yeah, no, nothing whatsoever that we haven't covered already, one place or another. So finally, I shall go to Google, the Googly department, where we got replays of our shows. Yeah, um, yeah, nothing particularly new there. That is very strange. Right. Okay. Well, I think that's it. I'm just
Hmm.
flipping around here. I don't think. Oh, the Magic Leap video I posted was actually the Leap conference keynote recap. And that person that pointed it out to me saying, well, "This is it in a nutshell." Um, well, watching the VR Awards live, that has already happened. So yeah, we don't really need that. So I can put that away, and that's where that's the end of the screen shares, I think. Okay, just quickly now harking back to our good old Discord to see if there's anything in the groups there that we might have missed. Obviously, a lot of the traffic, most of the Open Simulator groups at Google Plus, a lot of them are now being more or less duplicated over MeWe. Um, um, so there's very little I'm actually seeing at MeWe that isn't already on Google Plus, put it that way. But where we are, so we've got Hypergrid events. Yep. For those of you who don't know, we do have Hypergrid Explorers and Creators server at Discord. If you go to discord.com and look that up, or look in other sources where we're on the web, you'll actually find a link that will just take you straight to that server and join you up if you've got Discord, or join you up with Discord if you haven't got Discord. A lot of conversations, links, and stuff like that happening there. Um, Also, of course, as you may have gathered last week, we're now in the build up to the OpenSim Community Convention, which will be in about 5 weeks' time, which is a really horrifying thought. It feels like a distant thing on the agenda, but you start planning these things and they start creeping up. There's a call for proposals still out there. If you go to conference.opensimulator.org, and you can see the call for proposals. You can propose anything, a presentation, or if you think you might be have something to say on one of the panels, even if you don't know what the panel is, you can always propose. Um, Anything you like, really, that is related to OpenSim, and of course, well, or the hypergrid. Although, of course, the hypergrid is a facet of OpenSim. There will be some events that touch on other virtual platforms, but basically, it's an OpenSim conference. They are also looking for volunteers, whether you are, say, a virtual camera person who could do some filming to the stream, audio technicians, moderators, both the voice ones that introduce people on stage and the behind the scenes ones that just do a bit of troubleshooting, or very simply just greeters, that don't require you doing much except hanging out, and saying hello to everybody and pointing them in the right direction, or whichever direction is right for them, if you see what I mean. That's what a greeter does. So wide open, wide open for stuff happening there. So, yep. As I said, we obviously have that high fidelity thing coming up, but we'll promote that again before the time arrives. And yeah, my mind has gone blank, as it does when you're actually thrust into British winter time. Yes, in case you, in case any of you are watching in the UK and you're wondering why you haven't to get a replay because you're late, well, it's all to do with the clocks going back. And normally I'd be doing this at 7 o'clock, but this week I'm doing it at 6 o'clock
Mm.
because we're keeping to American time. Don't know why, but we are.
Well, the grids are all American time, Pacific time in
Yes,
particular.
yeah. It's interesting. This is the time of year when UTC is the same as Greenwich Mean Time.
Mm.
No, sorry, it's
Mm-hmm.
not, is it? UTC is British Winter Time. So British Summer Time is always out of sync by an hour. But yeah, our
Yeah, it's the
European
summer that's
friends,
the variance from the norm, right? The norm is
yeah,
we spring ahead. So
there's a big 3 hour difference
yeah.
when summertime begins again. Um, but yeah, pretty much all of Europe has changed its clocks too. So it's actually America is behind in this thing, but for some reason we're sticking to American clocks. So there you go, there you go. Um, I'm just looking at my own server here, actually, which is where we are parked. And yes, indeed, my server is right here on my desktop in London, or one of my desktops in London, in the UK. And
Your
guess
grid,
what?
the MetaWorld
And
grid server.
yeah, well, no,
Yeah.
that's the funny thing. My grid time is American Pacific. Go figure.
Yep.
There were for a long while audio a loss of the majority of OpenSIM installations used UTC, which is the Universal Time Clock, which
Hmm.
is actually the same more or less as Greenwich Mean Time, I think. Um, I Yes, I think UTC is the old Greenwich Mean Time. Um, simply because it's the 12-hour point where there's 12 hours behind and 12 hours forward. So if that was the international time and your local time is either minus something or other up to 12 or plus something or other up to 12. Um, but I guess I don't know. You Yanks, James. Yes, it's you Yanks. You probably moaned yourself stiff about not understanding UTC and made us go to the American clock, or rather the Pacific clock.
Well,
You must have a hell of a time in America, really, when you think about it, because you're all one continent. You're all so together, but you're in 3 time zones,
yeah.
5 time zones, I believe.
Well, yeah,
So
with
you're
Hawaii, right, right.
yeah. Um, yeah, exactly. Goes off all over the place.
Hmm.
Anyway, enough of that. Any thoughts on all the stuff I've been rabbiting about, James, or
Well,
are we
you've
done?
touched on one of my pet peeves, and but I can go down the rabbit hole all the way to
Yeah.
metric time. So,
Oh, right.
and all the
Well,
world on metric time. And what would be better situated to do something like that than virtual worlds? Because why do we need
yeah.
these time zones? We don't.
You'll love this anecdote. Although actually, I think I mentioned it before we came on air, but I was in Telegram earlier, and there was I think it was mostly last night. People were talking about somebody asked how many time zones are in use in the USA, and
Mm.
from Eastern through to Alaska and Hawaii, it's 1, 2, 3, 6, I think. Um, Whatever. But then as usual, people are saying, hey, I'm here and I'm here, and good morning from Southern California, where there's no such thing as time.
Okay.
But I put a thing up saying good lunchtime from London, brackets where we just exited summertime.
Right.
Just
Right.
my contribution. Then Philip Rosedale pops up, and to quote Philip, he says, "Time zones are a cruel mistress. They're the only remaining thing keeping us all apart as VR becomes fully online."
Yeah.
Nice one, Philip. Thank you for that. If you're listening. Yeah, but yeah, it's the thing, isn't it? We live in an interconnected international world, and I think obviously we know when it's daylight in our local area and stuff, and can't stop the world from turning.
Yeah,
But I think we need to develop some notion of a standard time and our placement, on the various sides of that, just
yeah,
because at the moment we spend a lot of time online, be it on the web or in virtual worlds, and we are forever, ever stressing ourselves out, basically working out systems of translating time. Oh, it's right. It's 8 o'clock at night here for me, so it's therefore noon in Pacific. Oh, but hang on a second, it's only 7 o'clock at night for me here because I've just moved to summertime. As Pacific hasn't moved, and it's that sort of thing of if it's going to take generations, but if there was some way of looking up a clock when you're online and yeah, some magical, some way that sort of tells you what time you are in the global scheme of things, and probably we'll still need some kind of extra clock for offline use when you're just walking around down to a village for a shop or something, so you know where they're still open. But and who knows, the shop may never open in future. It'll be a shop that's always online 24 hours a day, still be using the global clock. You don't know at all. But you're right, it does. It sort of feels like a drawback to an old world, even though in fact it's a very rational thing of there's things like the world turning and the moon
hmm,
turning and the sun sticks, us turning around the sun and everything else. Um, it's almost as though the planets weren't made for the interwebs, or is it the other way around?
well, I mean, we could go further down the rabbit hole and discuss how time's an illusion. It's
Yeah.
just our way of keeping everything from happening at once. Then what do we do with that?
But then the theory is, well, the theory is it's like that first ever old 70s Superman movie where he destroyed all the plot of every future movie because he solved it by going back in time.
Right, right.
He went against the way the world was turning, so he was moving back in time, and he went
Uh,
faster than the planet was rotating. And
Lovely
technically,
metaphor.
if you have a fast enough aircraft, you can go backwards across the international date line, and when you land, you'll be back in time from when you started.
No.
If we got that, well, if no, I believe that is possible if we can create the speeds. At the moment,
It,
we
it,
really
it
we can't
doesn't
do what.
change the nature of things, though. It changes your reference to where the Earth is.
Yeah, yeah.
But
But well, it does mean it positions you at a different relative point.
right.
So, let's say we only see it long term, like that novel Around the World in 80 Days. They were a few hours short, but then they realised that in fact, although they were short, they they had gained a day
Oh,
in the
right.
in the direction they were travelling. So they hurried as soon as they realised that what the date was. They went rushing down from Liverpool to London, and just in the nick of time, they made it to the Royal Society, where they said, "Yeah, we're back in 80 days." Even though they cheated because they took 81, but nobody knew because they went the
Right.
wrong way. They went
A,
the
a
back.
technicality. Purely a
Yeah,
technicality.
but it is. I mean, but that sort of stuff actually intrigues me because
Yeah, yeah.
what is the fifth dimension or whatever, time, distance, all that sort of stuff, and what happens when we start exploring the moons and Mars and maybe beyond, sending voyagers and stuff out there. If these things are somehow using subspace channels we've got internet connectivity with these space vehicles that are, it's no longer a case of being 24, 24 hours on the other end of the planet. We'll be talking light years of, well, maybe not light years, but anything that can travel at the speed of light. If it's only a light day away, um, then we'd be talking very large distances and very strange concepts of time. But
Indeed.
what am I talking about? We are meant to be doing the virtual world news here, not, not
But
the dream,
time
the
time
dream,
is
the
clearly
dream world.
key to virtual worlds, and
It is,
You
yeah.
know, we refer to grid times. I mean, how else do you get people to get together for a conference? You'll say, well, we're on this grid. Let's reference that grid time rather than
Yeah,
trying to address everybody's individual circumstance.
yeah. Well, it's like global connections, global outreach, and stuff like that. You would almost expect grid times to be on server time, wherever the server is. But then
But why
again,
does it matter?
yeah, well,
Right,
you just said it.
right.
But then again, why does it matter?
Right.
So yeah, fascinating thing. Well, we will continue this discussion in 6 months' time when we'll be going in the other direction. How about that? And
That's
in fact, actually, if we wait till spring, believe it or not, we won't just have one week to put up. We'll have 3 whole weeks to
oh
argue it.
gracious. Right.
Well, maybe we'll actually arrange a panel for the show in 6 months' time, and we'll have a special Meta World news on the issue of time over the course
Sure.
of 3 weeks.
Sure.
Won't it be so fascinating?
Yeah.
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 Anyway, no long form show this week. Giving in World Review a break for this week at least, and by next week, of course, the Anglo-European relations will actually be back on their regular 8-hour separation, as opposed to the chaos that's going on at the moment. So, with that, using Pacific time as a reference, we will be back same time, same place next week. And if you're not on Pacific time, then we'll be back an hour later, same place next week. I think. Have I got it right?
I think so. I can't. I don't know.
We don't know, do we? We
No.
just don't know.
Not
Okay, folks.
until my phone tells me what to do will I know what the situation is.
Indeed. Okay. Right. Oh, oh, oh. Ah, I see. It's telling me. Okay. We'll see you next week.